Hi, I'm Christina Balch. I specialize in artist websites, and today I want to take you through the Squarespace Keo template to help artists build at least a foundation for a website. This is what it looks like on Squarespace. I think this Keo template is actually a really good website for an artist on its own out of the box, um, but I do have some suggestions. So what I'm going to talk about is adding a contact page, adding any other pages that you want. If you need to add something like services, I recommend removing this email icon right here, um, changing the font, changing the image format on the home page if you want, and changing the work page. This is probably the work landing page, that is. This is probably my biggest and maybe only critique. So let's dive in. I've already selected this website and started it in Squarespace here. So this is my Squarespace account. You want to go to website pages to start making edits, and then of course hit edit. So this demo out of the box has, I would just recommend putting your name right here in the left corner. It's got work and about, and that's it for the pages, and then Instagram and an email for social links. So for the header, I would recommend either leaving it as is. I would definitely remove that email icon. I just don't think it's helpful. I would rather you have a contact page, so we're going to add that. And then add any other social links that you want. So if you have a YouTube account, if you're on X, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, you can add it here. If you don't have socials, or you just don't post them that regularly, or especially if it's not specific to your art and it's just mostly personal, then don't put it on your artist website. In that case, you can just delete this entirely, and I would recommend moving this, the navigation links to the right. So those are my recommendations for the header. For this sentence here, I really like having, I like when artists have a statement or something about themselves in large text right on the homepage, because people want to know who you are and what you do, and this is a really quick, easy way to do it. It's difficult to try to sum up your practice or yourself in one sentence, and I would recommend that you just do it in one sentence or a few words. But it's really nice for people who go to your website to be able to immediately know what you do. One bit of advice too, if your website name here, so where it says artist website demo here, if that's not just your name, then I would recommend having your name somewhere quickly visible on the website. It's nice if it's kind of a tagline. That's not really as common as it used to be. I would probably put it in here, say something like multidisciplinary studio of artist name. Obviously, you can add a little more there in terms of what type of work you do, but adding your name is good for people to know that they're on the right site because they're probably looking for you. And it's also good for search engine optimization. If people search for you in Google, they're more likely to find your website if your name is somewhere on the page. If not right here, then somewhere else, like this area here. Okay, so this section is just a gallery of images. I like this. I personally would prefer a couple bigger images. And we're going to edit section and reduce the columns. So I like clean home pages. So I think the grid is good. If you want to have a lot of different images on your homepage, I think that's fine. I would also consider one big image, in which case you would delete the gallery and just add an image here or video, depending on the type of work you do. If you want more than one, then I would change this to be 2 columns, 2 or even 3. See how it just makes the work bigger and it's easier to see your artwork. This I think is a nice size. So if you have this, then I wouldn't recommend having necessarily this many images. I would pick, it depends how you're doing it, but I would pick like 4 to 6, I would say. And then the way this works on the home page here is that when you, if somebody's on your website, the image opens up to a lightbox view of that image. It would be nice if you could have this be a little more like the work page, so that you click into a project portfolio. And you can do that. Instead of having a gallery here, you would just add a couple images. So let's say you had 2 featured projects that you wanted to put on your homepage. You would delete this section, and just, that would just be hitting remove right here, and then add a new section and add the image blocks. Just have one image on the left, one image on the right, kind of like this. But instead of having that image open up into a lightbox where you just see that image bigger, it'll link to another page, which is a project page. And that looks like, so on that homepage, one image would link to, let's say your 2 featured projects were Glacier Repair and the Rural Run. You would click that image on the left, say that's your image for Glacier Repair. You click on that on the home page, and then it would link to this page. And then same for a different project. I like that option as well. I actually like that better than just having a lightbox image right on the home page, but it's totally personal preference. So the work landing page is like, it's a landing page where you don't go right to the work. You go to a page like this that lists the work by project, or really you can list it any way you want, but I do like how it lists it by project or artist, artwork type. If you do different types of artwork and they're pretty different stylistically, like painting and sculpture and installation or something, and you want to separate your work in that way, then you can do that here as well. If they're more thematic, like this, where you've got project titles, I think that's a nice way to do it. Then you would list those here. My only issue with this is this hover function. It's a little wonky. I just don't like it. This is also personal preference, but I don't think this is not website best practices. You can't read the text when the image is there. It's, you can't read the other text. I understand why they're using it, but it's not great for the user. So what I would do is turn that off. We're going to do that here. So you go into Edit Section, hover, follow cursor, and there's a few options here. There's a simple grid. I actually like this option. I like this option the best. You just have an image, like a hero image for each project, and then the name of it underneath, and then you click on that, either the image or the link, and it goes to that project page. Let's just stick with that one. The other ones are a little weird. So grid, simple. would be my recommendation. Height is up to you. You probably want full height. You can also do custom. If you have, the columns depend on how many images you have. Since there are 4 here, I'm going to change it to 2 columns so that there's, so they're even. Horizontal spacing, I would increase so that the images have a little breathing room. Same with vertical spacing. This you can change depending on what you want it to look like. Same with this, a lot of this stuff you can change. Text alignment, I like left alignment. Background, I wouldn't add any background color, like a white, fairly monochrome, simple background is best for framing your artwork here. So I like this option instead, the simple grid for the work page. And then you click into the project from here. And then from there, you click on these images and it takes you to the project page. And I like the way that works. And then you have the project title. And again, this could be artwork type like, painting, performance, sound, etc. Whatever type of work you do. The title would go up here, and then another opportunity to just describe it a little bit. And you can just delete this, but this is a really good place to just say a little bit about the project, and people get a better sense of what it is if you explain it a little bit. And of course, you get to explain it in your voice, which is good. You've got a big image on top here, whatever you want it to be, and then just a text. It can be more traditional, like just title, year, size, media, with under each photo, or you can actually have a paragraph or some text explaining the work or how you made it or where the feeling of it came from, or however you describe your work. That's nice to have here too, and you can put as much text or as little text as you want in here. But I think for a project, it's nice to be able to have the opportunity for text along with the image, right below the image. Something to consider, if you've got vertical images, you don't really want those to fill the width of the page, because the user's not going to be able, at least on desktop, the user's not going to be able to see the full image. They're going to have to scroll and just kind of scroll up and down to figure it out. So if you have a vertical image, depending on how you want to lay it out, I would at the very least recommend some padding on either side. You can just have it left aligned so that the image is over here, and then have some space on the side. Again, up to you. You can still just leave the text below it. I think that's fine. Or you can center the image and just have space, even space on either side. If it makes sense for the project, you could have multiple images side by side. Again, then the text would have to be below all the images, or I would recommend anyway, the text would be below all the images and describe that image as a series or somehow a group of images, not like describe them one by one below. Otherwise, just stack them vertically on top of each other. And it's fine to have horizontal and vertical images, going down. I think the most important thing is just be consistent with the way you lay it out. So if you do it all left aligned on one project page, try to keep it left aligned on the rest of the project pages as well. and just elsewhere on your website. Consistency is best for user experience, and that just means the people coming to look at your work on your website. Okay, so that's the big one, the way the work is displayed. I think changing that hover image to the simple grid is my biggest recommendation. Other things I like about this template, I actually like this little ticking text here. You can just delete it if you don't have anything that you think you want to share there, but as it's displaying here, like currently shooting in the South, that's cool just to show what you're doing right now at this moment. If you have an exhibition, you can say currently showing at X gallery in, Y city. If you're at a residency, you can say you're at the residency. If you're just working on a new series, you can say currently working on a new series or collaborating with this person. It could be anything, really, anything you want to highlight. It's just a nice little way to kind of engage people with what you're doing now in the moment. If you are going to use that, I would recommend keeping it up to date and changing it every once in a while at least, just to keep it interesting. And then you've got the footer down here. I think most people aren't going to want this gigantic text of their name. If you do and it works, great. If not, you can just make it smaller. And then, of course, remove made with Squarespace. And in lieu of that, I would add a copyright because you want to have copyright for your images. And you can put your artist name, or if you have a separate business name for your studio, then you could put that. Those are my recommendations. I'm going to leave it there, but if you have any other questions, or if you want to see my thoughts on any other templates, please feel free to comment or shoot me a message on my website. All right, thanks.